Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen listeners, lords, layabouts, Lilliputians, lemmings, lipsmackers, late people, Leonards, Liliths, Lucys, Liams, Lakes and Leonies, non-gender binary listeners, and anyone else who is listening but cannot be surmised within the following categories. However, I think everyone listening was probably covered with our variations of the categories of listeners. Moving on. Welcome everyone to the second to last episode of Your Dog's Been Spayed Ever. The show's writer, director, producer will be moving on to other things, such as a graduate diploma in secondary teaching and hopefully writing another radio comedy featuring even more New Zealand history lessons than were in these 2 seasons. In the third to last episode of Your Dog's Been Spayed, we left our heroes on the brink of success, only to be interrupted by the entrance of the NZSAS. The nuclear reactor, removed from the USS Halibut, is dangling from a crane suspended above the mole city in only a lead box to keep everyone from dying of radiation sickness. How they've managed to do this we don't know, and our writer cannot readily explain. However, the attempt to move the reactor to the teapot-shaped spaceship has been disrupted by a nearby explosion and the entrance of Sergeant Williams of the NZSAS, who immediately confronts a worried-looking Conrad about why he hasn't been turning up to work lately, and what the hell he's doing hanging about with a bunch of mole people a kilometre beneath Wellington City. But first, another news broadcast to keep you in some form of suspense. Beep, beep, beep.
Hello and welcome to the 7 a.m. in the morning news. Large earthquakes have rocked the Wellington CBD today, curiously timed for when the NZSAS were conducting military exercises on Ward Island. We asked the newly appointed minister in charge of the NZSAS, Gareth Morgan, for a comment. I believe we have him on the line now. Good morning, Minister.
Good morning, Sewa. How are you?
Well, rather shaken at the moment, Minister.
Yes, Sewa. I can understand that.
Now, Minister, I understand you've only been recently appointed to your position, but what the hell is going on? You have these secret training exercises for the NZSAS on Ward Island, and coincidentally, a moment later, Wellington is rocked by some of the largest earthquakes in recent history. Are you doing hydraulic fracturing operations down there or something?
No, we're not doing any thwacking near Wellington, I can assure you of that.
Well, what is happening then, please, Minister?
Well, as you've been told, there's a secret training exercise occurring.
Right. Presumably you can't tell us what it is because...
It's a secret training exercise.
Yes, thank you, Minister. That's most helpful. Is there anything you can tell us?
Yes. The training is a test of the exosuits we're going to be deploying against the mole people who live under Wellington.
Now there's an interesting point, Minister. I have here reports from GNS saying that these latest shakes are not naturally occurring events. What do you say to that, Minister?
Well, I would say that GNS should check where their funding's coming from.
Excuse me, Minister.
I said, I would say that GNS should check where their findings are coming from.
Oh. That is less controversial than threatening GNS with removing their government grants.
Yes, I would think so.
So, getting back to my point, could these shakes around central Wellington have anything to do with the operations by the NZSAS, which is supposed to be focused on the mole people living beneath central Wellington?
As I said, they're natural earthquakes.
But GNS Science has said they're not.
And I've said I don't agree with GNS Science. Who are you going to believe, some scientists or a government minister?
Good point, Minister, and I think we can leave that with the audience to ponder over. Thank you very much, Minister, for coming on the show.
Book! Make that giant hen shut up!
Yes, sir. Please be quiet, Clucky.
Now, Private, what have you got to say for yourself?
Sergeant Williams, that is to say...
Stop babbling, Private! Now we have orders to wipe out these pesky mole people, and you and your friends had better not get in the way. We've had a long, hard walk down here, and these giant exosuits aren't the most comfortable things in the world, so I'm in a mean! What the hell is a submarine doing here?
Well, Sergeant Williams, we're trying to help the mole people return to their home planet in their teapot-shaped spaceship.
Right, so that's what the giant teapot over there is.
Yes, sir.
And so why do you need a submarine?
Well, they need a nuclear reactor to power it, so we got the submarine because it's nuclear powered.
And moving the reactor to the spaceship, how the hell are you doing that?
Well, that's what the crane over there is for.
So there's a working nuclear reactor dangling from that crane?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's really dangerous.
That's what we said.
Don't worry, the box is lit. Christ, you guys do talk slowly.
But either way, the mole people are leaving, so you guys aren't really needed to wipe them out after all.
I'm afraid I'm the one who decides that.
Minister for the Environment,
And Minister for the NZSAS.
Gareth Morgan.
Yes, that's right. I am Gareth. What's going on here, Sergeant, and why haven't your men destroyed this webble?
Yes, Minister.
Wait, Minister Morgan. Really, sir, you must understand that the mole people aren't a real threat to your plans for fossil fuel exploration of New Zealand.
That's not the point, you weird, leather-wearing warlock. One of them ain't my tuies. Do you have any idea how long it took me to twain those birds?
Well, was it really wise to use a threatened native New Zealand species to sniff out oil wells for you?
Shut up!
Buck, you're a dick, Gareth.
And you're a guy in a chicken suit.
Buck, take that back.
Never!
Why, you Clucky! Darling, you can't take on the minister and a squad from the NZSAS when they're wearing giant exosuit things with all sorts of deadly attachments. It just won't work.
Wait, Minister, before you give the orders to have everyone here killed, why don't you tell us how you found the Mole City? You know, for gloating purposes.
Well, that's very easy to answer, Wheelie. David, why don't you come in now?
I think that's a good idea, Minister Morgan.
It's former Attorney General and Labour Party MP for Otago, David Parker.
Yes, that's right. I gave Gareth directions to the Mole City. That's what I was doing on those extra long shopping trips, David Shearer and David Cunliffe. You fools had no idea, did you?
As David Parker and Gareth Morgan continue to brag about their plans, diverting funding from education and welfare to the development of the NZSAS exosuits, and following the USS Halibut through the secret tunnel from Ward Island to discover the Mole City, Morning and Maths sneak away to the submarine. With a bit of work, they convince the Marines on board that the NZSAS are, in fact, communists from a high-tech future. The Marines, Morning, and Mephistopheles creep to the hatch of the USS Halibut and ready their weapons.
And just you wait until the genetic experiments we're growing beneath the beehive develop. Then New Zealand will be able to use all its endangered species to find not only fossil fuels, but dig them up and process them as well. Just imagine kakapos working in coal mines, or southern white whale deep-sea drilling platforms. Then there's the mowers, which will be able to perform hydraulic...
It's over, Gareth Morgan. Tell your men to drop their weapons. We have 3,000 US Marines here, and there's already an army of mill people you'll have to deal with as well.
Oh, you on, devilish hippie! SAS, mounted carbines, now!
Whoa, everyone stop right now. There's a nuclear reactor dangling just above us.
So what?
Haven't you seen aliens, Minister? Even a single stray bullet could cause all sorts of trouble if it hits the reactor.
All right, Williams. The Marines are putting down their weapons. What are you guys going to do?
Squad! Engage incendiary units!
Whoops.
My teapot.
Everyone duck.
Buck, where?
Out of the way, darling.
Buck, morning. I'm not sure now is quite the time or place.
Better cast a stasis spell quickly, Morning.
Right you are, Wicker.
Earth
Mother, Unicorn, and the almighty teapot, lend us your aid. Give us the power to fight this fire and get a shield made. Resist the heat and such a big ink to make the mole pen don't fade.
But it's not strong enough. This thing won't last.
Right, everyone into the halibut.
Good idea. Pika, David, Clive, Morning, Clucky, Parker's a lot of us, and Conrad.
Plus the Marines.
Plus the Marines, so it's going to be cramped. Are we all in? I think so. Right, close the hatch and... Right!
Well, this is awkward.
It's certainly uncomfortable.
And hot.
Buck, what the hell was that?
Teapot! Look at the wall!
Oh, Teapot and your one-horned son. That must be Sergeant Williams. He's going to punch his way through the hull. Hey! This happens to be a piece of history you're trying to smash a hole in.
What will become of our heroes? Will Sergeant Williams smash his way through the hull of this 1960s submarine? Will the mole people survive the threat of the NZSAS, Gareth Morgan, and the vicious betrayal of David Parker, former Labour government minister and MP for Otago? Also, what has happened to Derek since we last heard from him? Tune in to the next and last episode and you'll be sure to find out. You'll also find out which luminous historical figure will feature in the climactic finale of Your Dog's Been Spayed. Once again, I, Alex Grieg, have been myself, your narrator. Francis Homer played Conrad, Sorry the Mole Person, and Gareth Morgan. Cordelia Ann Black was the voice of Wicca, Mephistopheles, the news reporter, and the Davids. James Barber played Morning, Clucky, Clive, and the Mole King. He also wrote and produced this episode and the rest of the series, but you already knew that. As we approach the end of the second to last episode, I will leave you with these final 12 words. Tune in next time, and have a lovely time of day.